So I posted a reel for the last 30 days and the results are insane. Let's check the stats. So firstly, I reached 10 million accounts, which is a 246% boost from the previous month. And I also gained a whopping 146,653 new followers, which is a 459% increase from the previous month. So it just shows if you post high quality content consistently, you will be rewarded for it. But as you're probably aware, creating content consistently is a lot easier said than done. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my top tips to posting content consistently. And we're diving straight in with tip number 1, and that is batch creating. And basically, this is when you're focusing on one step of the content creation process at a time, and you're gonna do as much work as you can in a single session. So for example, every week I'll dedicate half a day to focus on generating as many content ideas as possible. And once that time is up, I'll spend the rest of that day scripting out as many videos from those ideas as possible. And when it comes to actually generating content ideas, I love checking out Facebook groups and my competitors' comments to find suggestions or questions that people within my niche are asking for. So for example, with this video here, I was looking through a smartphone filmmaking Facebook group and I saw a few people asking if it was bad to film with the front camera on their iPhone. So I went ahead and made a reel covering this topic, and this one video received over 1.2 million views. And for the scripting side of things, I personally use my consistent creator template, which I created inside a Notion, and basically I can open up any of these cards here and start scripting out my videos. Personally, I don't like to start shooting any videos until I have a minimum of 10 completed video scripts. And a simple framework I like to use when scripting out my short form content is the HVC framework. And this framework consists of the hook, value, and call to action. And I do have a full video on the way that dives a lot deeper into this framework. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it when it drops. But now that we've completed the pre-production side of things, we can now move on to the actual shooting process. And for this, I'll dedicate half a day to shoot as many videos as possible. And within this shoot day, I'll also film any B-roll or any other visual elements I may need for the final edit. After the shooting process, I then move into the post-production side of things. And personally for me, I now have a team of editors that helps me with this. But when I was doing everything myself, I would again batch my edits by dedicating a day or two to focus on just editing. And a pro tip when doing any of these 4 steps of the creation process is to set your phone to the time-lapse mode and to film yourself working. And the reason this hack works so well is because since your phone will be across the room recording you, it will ensure you're not getting distracted while you're working, but at the same time you'll also be creating content with not much effort, because these time-lapse videos are great when paired with some written tips like this. But now moving on to consistent tip number 2, and that is to use as many tools and templates as possible. So for example, all of these tweets and carousel posts are actually Photoshop templates that I've personally created in the past, and they are fully customizable, which makes the whole creation process a lot more seamless and faster. I also use my own photo editing and caption presets to help speed up my workflow when editing photos and my videos. And as I touched on briefly, I also use my consistent creator template to help organize and speed up my overall workflow. With that being said, I do have all of these different templates for sale on my website. So if you're interested in creating this style of content and optimizing your content creation workflow, then I have left links in the description below, so be sure to check that out. But with that being said, some of the free tools I personally use to help me stay consistent are Canva, which is a free website that offers a bunch of professionally made templates that you can use for your content. And for scripting out my videos, I use the Pro Writing Aid and the Hemingway Editor. And these free tools help keep my scripts concise and easy to understand. And I personally aim for a grade 5 readability when scripting out my videos. But now moving on to consistent tip number 3, and that is repurposing your content. And there are many ways to do this, but my 3 favorite ways to repurpose my content are firstly, filming multiple call to actions. actions. So for example, for my Instagram Reels and TikToks, I always record a call to action that says follow for more tips. But then for my YouTube Shorts, I'll record a call to action that says subscribe for more tips. And when editing my video, I'll just create two versions with two different endings. And by adding this slight variation to the endings of your videos, this will help make your content more native to the platform. And this will help disguise the fact that it's just a repurposed video. But now my second favorite way to repurpose my content is by reposting old content that performed well in the past. So an example of this is this video here, which received 7,000 views. And at the time, 7,000 views was pretty good for my account, but I still felt like it didn't get the engagement it deserved. So I reposted the same video 2 months later, and this time it received over 2 million views. But now my third favorite way to repurpose content is by focusing on creating one long form piece of content. So this could be anything from a YouTube video, a newsletter, or basically anything that is rich in content. From here, I'll take that long form piece of content and then break it down into as many short form pieces as possible. So for example, I took a recent YouTube video covering the 5 key camera settings to taking professional looking photos with any camera, and then I broke each of those tips down into their own separate videos to get 5 short form pieces of content. And these 5 short form videos gained over 250,000 views on my Instagram. But also on top of that, I took the key points from that same YouTube video and created 3 Twitter posts. And since I personally script out my content word for word, I took that script and turned it into a blog post, which I then posted on my website. So the key here is to maximize the content we're creating, and we need to focus on working smarter and not harder. But now moving on to tip number 4, and that is becoming a faster editor. And this tip will develop over time, but here are some of the tips that have helped speed up my editing workflow. So firstly, if you shoot your content with a camera and in those higher resolutions like 4K, then creating proxy files of your clips will allow you to play back your footage a lot quicker while you're editing. With that being said, it does take some time up front to actually create these proxies, but what I like to do is, since I batch record all of my videos, I'll import all of my files into Final Cut Pro, and as the proxies are being created, I'll start downloading any stock videos, music, or sound effects that I'll need throughout my edit. And then once my proxies are created, I can then move on to step 2, which is to cut out any mistakes or dead space. And basically this is where I'll go in and cut out all the parts of my video that I don't need, and here I'll ensure I'm using the keyboard shortcuts within my editing software. And you can automate this process by using the software TimeBolt, which is a unique tool that will actually go ahead and cut out all your mistakes and dead space for you. So if you're wanting to completely avoid having to do this manually, this is a tool that you can definitely check out. But now once my A-roll has been trimmed down, I then add the B-roll scenes to my entire video. And again, my B-roll scenes usually consist of videos I've personally taken, photos, animations, or stock videos. From here, I'll go in and add any keyframes, effects, or sounds throughout my video, and then I'll add my captions. And for my captions, I like to animate them to help increase the overall style and engagement of them. So I've actually created custom presets that I can just drag and drop onto my captions to instantly add some movement to them. And I do have these presets available for both Final Cut and Premiere Pro users, so if you're interested in picking them up, I have left links in the description below. But now finally, I'll add a color grade to all my shots, and a pro tip is to use adjustment layers when doing this, because this will allow you to easily drag this layer over any of your clips, and then anything under the adjustment layer will be affected. And this will help speed up your color grades because you won't have to manually edit each individual clip. Also, I always recommend color grading your videos as the last step in your edits, because once your clips are graded, it can make your editing software start to slow down. But with that being said, if you hate editing and you have the budget for it, then I highly recommend just outsourcing your edits. And to be totally honest, if your goal with social media is to grow your personal brand so that you can generate more leads or sales for your business, and if you don't have a video editing background already, then I wouldn't even bother trying to learn how to edit and just outsource it from day one. Because personally for me, I hired an editor back in November, and if we look at my analytics, we can see that this is around the same time where I saw my rapid growth on Instagram. Before hiring an editor, I would do these content sprints where I would dedicate 30 days to post a piece of content every single day. And during these sprints, I would start to get traction, but by day 30, I would just burn out completely and end up not posting anything for a few weeks. And if you're doing content on the side, then I'm sure you know how difficult it can be to manage your work, family, and relationships on top of your content creation. And a common misconception that I believed before hiring an editor was that I needed to invest a lot of money, when in reality you can find very skilled editors from websites like Freelancer, Fiverr, or Upwork for a very reasonable price. With that being said though, if editing is holding you back from posting content consistently, then you can email me at takumi@authoritynavigator.com and I can help connect you with some of my personal editors who create majority of my short form videos. But now, moving on to my final tip to staying consistent, and that is scheduling out your content. And this tip has been an absolute life changer for me, and basically I'll spend an hour or so on a Sunday scheduling out all my content for the following week. And on Instagram, we can do this by going into the advanced settings when uploading our reels, and then turning on schedule this reel, and then choosing the exact date and time we want the video to go live. I'm still waiting for this schedule feature to be available for TikTok, unless it's already out and I just don't know about it. But for the meantime, I'll just create drafts of all my videos for the week, and then I'll set an alarm on my phone to remind me to post the videos throughout the week. But there we have it. That is a full wrap up of how I consistently post content across my social media accounts. And I'm confident if you start applying some of the techniques we covered in this video, then you'll also be able to supercharge your social media growth this year. And again, if you want to streamline your content creation process, you can pick up any of the templates we covered in this video by clicking the links in the description below. And if you need any help finding an editor that fits your budget and brand, then don't hesitate to contact me at takumi@authoritynavigator.com. But as always, I want to thank you for staying until the end of this video. And if you want to learn the simple lighting tip to making your videos look professional fast, then click this video here and I'll see you there.